on April 2nd, it was our 49th wedding anniversary, and we decided to go down to the Orlando area and see two different museums that has to do with trains. And one of the train museums were absolutely right smack dab in the middle of Winter Garden downtown. They're having the festival going on, so they actually have it Friday and Saturday. But we decided to take it on Saturday, and we parked about 2 miles from this place, and they had a free shuttle. Thank goodness for that. I was having a little trouble in the lower part of my back, arthritis mainly, and we have no surgical remedy, so we're doing a little physical therapy, and walking is one of those things they said we could do. And so we had plenty of walking, I can tell you that. If you've never been down in this area, it's a beautiful city, beautiful. And if you wanted to buy something in the genus of a plant, they had it there. They had everything you could think of. Well, this part I ain't worried about.
Yeah.
Not only do they have plants, but there are all kinds of other vendors too that sell things, and about 90% of it has to do with something to do with the plant. You'll see later in there, my wife actually bought a cactus planter and some. She bought something for her older sister, and so I was fascinated by these pitcher plants. That's actually a hanging pitcher plant. Down in South Georgia, we have pitcher plants that actually grow up from bogs where there's not very much nitrogen, and the plant actually takes the nitrogen out of bugs that happen to crawl in there and fall down into the water where they get digested for the plant. A lot of friendly people of all shapes, sizes, creeds, and colors. Dogs too, even an iguana, and that'll be later in the video. You'll see them up front and close. A lot of things to see and do for sure.
Yeah, so that it can go in.
Which one's the bougainvillea? No.
That's hibiscus. Hibiscus looks like a mullion. Full sun. I wonder if that would be.
Sure. There were vendors on every street, and on the side streets they would be 2 blocks down, and they'd have barricades. It's a big festival, very big, and I can tell you this: my legs told the story later that night when we was back at the motel. It was a lot of walking. was a very pleasant day, even though it was getting close to being hot. It was mainly because you're in the direct sunlight.
He's a rescue, so.
This fella here was a rescue, and this fella here got him after this was the fourth time. He'd been returned 3 times to the pound, and the fella said that the dog bit him when he first got him, but he's got him settled down, and he's made a good little friendly dog. I was surprised my wife asked to pet him, but he wasn't interested.
It's not a winter garden, dragon garden.
There were plenty of places to eat and lots of things to eat. However, we had stopped earlier, not really sure what we found at this festival, and so we didn't actually buy anything to eat while we was here. But there was plenty to eat there. I hope you don't get motion sick watching this. I was actually holding the camera actually on my finger, and I found that if I didn't hold it on my finger, that I was moving a lot more back and forth. So maybe it'll be okay. Another thing I saw was these 4-wheel buggies. That's the way to go if you're going to buy plants. When you're buying little knickknacks, that's not a big deal, but as you can see, this buggy full right here. Winter Garden is actually located on the south end of Lake Apopka. That's one of the larger lakes in the area, and it's a beautiful place to be. As we were driving around trying to find a way back to head north, instead of going back through the turnpike, we decided we would go around the right side or east side of the lake, and a lot of greenery, a lot of beautiful scenery. But I'll hand it to the Florida Department of Transportation. They have a pretty good group of engineers down in that area because they know how to move traffic. And it's always amazing when you're driving in strange territory. And with all our modern technology now using these phones and map programs, it's really a good tool to have. They had eucalyptus, they had banana trees, they had citrus and all varieties. These cactus were a favorite, it seems. My wife worked for a urology doctor for about 13 or 14, 15 years, and it made her think of him because he was always fascinated about things that reminded him of urology.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? Say hi. Well, you too. Train's about in.
Okay.
I'll be on here.
Thanks.
the wind picked up pretty good. It was quite breezy, and it's a good thing we had some wind screens on the microphones. Like I say, everything you wanted to think of was probably there.
It's all hand knotted by me in Orlando.
I noticed on these tents there were a few people had this PVC weight that was on the corners. Several years ago we made barbecue sauce and seasonings, and we still have the seasonings on eBay. But the barbecue sauce, we used to go to festivals and we would do just like this, set up and give people samples, let them try it.
Yeah, but we're local Orlando, so you could find me at any of the craft fairs and things every weekend.
Well, we're trained by being on YouTube.
Okay.
So we're doing this. We like to do training videos and stuff.
Cool.
We like to do museums.
Amazing.
Good. We'll let everybody know. All right.
Back in the days when we did our festival routes with our barbecue sauce and seasonings, I know what a pain in the rear end it was to have to take all your products and get loaded up, and then you get them down there to these festivals very early in the morning. You get set up, you had to get your tables out, everything had to be tablecloths and all the products spread out, all of our pamphlets and paperwork that we had, and we had a grill. We would do some sausage for samples, and for the vegans we did pretzels and had a chicken breast that we had put in bite-sized pieces and served those. And I thought about how many plants I saw on the ground. I thought, man, somebody worked their butts off. I don't have too much desire to return to the festival life way of making a living.
Let's go to the historic.
This was something they was having for the kids. It was a drawing contest using chalk. When I come by here, I happened to see the lady in the blue walk up there, and she put her hands out, and she acted like she was going to bless those people out, but she was not. She was actually came off like she was going to do that, and then really gave them a lot of praise and accolades for being there on time and doing what they was supposed to do. And so she wasn't getting on them, she was actually praising them, and I thought that was pretty neat. She looked like she could have took care of you if you got out of hand. We didn't know exactly where the museum was in downtown, but we saw a place that had a caboose out front, and we thought that was it, but that actually turns out to be the Heritage Museum for the town. We'll have that in a separate video because this one here is already like 32 minutes long. We also went over to Plant City during this visit, and we went over there to the Williford Train Museum, where my wife was able to go into the museum, and the people there actually helped her do a little video shooting and explained what was going on with the layouts, and so that'll be a separate video too. And we'll probably incorporate the Plant City viewing platform in that same video, seeing how they're side by side. And we actually got to see a Amtrak come in and went to Tampa. So we had a good time this weekend. Well, I say weekend. We've had a good time since Thursday when we left. And we enjoyed doing things together. Even though we've been married 49 years, I'm not going to say it was easy all the way, but we made it through. And we like doing things together, and I encourage you. Love is a lot better vehicle than being stubborn and hateful.
Cool stuff.
That was a camera that she got for Christmas, and she was busy shopping. So she got some good train videos when we was in Waycross this very same trip, but that will be on Sunday, and that'll be another video. I wasn't sure what we was looking at first when I saw this tent enclosed, but it was butterfly plants inside of the enclosure. And if you'll look up on the wall there, you'll see quite a few of them was in there. When my mother-in-law was living, she always wanted to get a butterfly plant and make a little butterfly garden. And one thing and another, and it never did come to fruition, but at the same time, we love plants, and I know my wife has several cactuses out there on the porch rail, and we have I make some planters for different things. But like I say, there was nothing in the plant species that I don't think was represented here. I'm telling you, I think they had everything except the redwood tree.
Honeysuckle.
This part of the block was really catching the devil because there was a real stiff wind blowing, but it was blowing exactly towards that building, and the building was catching it and downdrafting it right across the bottom of the walkways. And so they were actually getting, wind was blowing away from their booths from behind them. The little hairy species, they all were walking and hassling. It was warm enough that you have to watch them and make sure they don't overheat. You know, it's really good to be able to see people out and about, and they're able to buy things and spend the money like they want to. Sometimes it really bothers me about people up in Washington, D.C. that are so out of contact with real life that they don't understand that people out here, these vendors, this is a way that they have to have a couch outlet, and it's a lot of hard work. And while some of these politicians don't even pump gas anymore in their cars because they're driven around or they take rail or some other way to work, I wish they could get their act together and just let people be people. And rules are necessary, laws are absolutely necessary, but at the same time, government overreach. That's just something that I've had my fill of. And when you look around and see all these people just doing what they want to do on a Saturday, it's refreshing to see that people are not easily conquered. Everybody from babies to old folks getting pushed around in wheelchairs. It's really just this lady here actually walked in front of my camera, and she didn't know that I was filming anyway, and so I went ahead and spun around on her. Music, yep, they had it down on this end of the festival. You could hear it, not quite to the other end, but it was. We didn't go up there to see who they were. Me and her was talking about the air plants. I do have a piece of rock that came out of with the Lacucha River in the northern part of actually South Georgia in North Florida. Yeah, there's two with the Lacucha Rivers. There's one down below Central Florida, and then one up here that comes out of Georgia into Florida and dumps into the Swanee River on its way to the Gulf. This piece of coral rock is actually coral rock, but it was exposed to sunlight. It's turned red. And, let me just make a little note here. You saw her hand me the $10 bills. I actually had her spending money, and I had it in my wallet. So how many women do you know that actually give their husbands back money to hold for them? Just a thought. Not trying to start nothing.
What I need is I need some business cards. Some business cards that have a band on it. Somebody sees me coming, they call or something, I can give it to them. So I can lay that in the basement. $100.
I also noticed the farther that we walked, the more it's obvious that I was walking. That old lower back arthritis was not kicking up too bad, but it was to the point where you would you just didn't want to step wrong, like stepping off a curb and without knowing you're fixing to take a lower step. But I was going to tough it out, even if it hurt. Wanted to make a disclaimer too on the video. I was actually holding it in my hand about waist level, just a little bit higher than she's holding hers, and so a lot of butt shots, I understand, and that wasn't on purpose. Most of the time I was not even looking at what I was videoing, just kind of aiming the way I was looking, so just so you know.
Shades on. I forgot about put shades on my cactuses. Amazon.
We saw these little cactuses and these little planters, and I was going to say my wife is a stickler for cactus, but that might sound like a pun. But I had bought some little cactuses because I'd made some planters that we were going to sell at the flea market, and we had some little 2-inch pots, and I bought some plants, and we had a windstorm come through here, and it blew them all off the porch rail. So I put them all back in the pots, and we got them back on the growing again. And about the third time we've had thunderstorms come through when you get those gusts, and it kept blowing them off the porch. So I was busy, and I left them on the ground, and well, they kept growing. But she picked them up, put them back in plants, and she's in charge of the cactus now. And so there's Miss Cactus looking at all the varieties. Red's Creations. They have all kinds of little good things, cactuses and whatnot. Just wanted to say too, we take and depend on Ben's Creations. That's the business we have where we make our 3D printed parts for obsolete power saws, table saws, scroll saws, drill presses, you name it. And so we'd appreciate you going there and checking it out. It's www.bens-creations.com. Next time I'll have some cards with that information on it so I can hand out for that young lady and for different ones that had dogs that I can give them, like this one, so they can see where to find their favorite pet on a video. And as always, we thank you for watching, and we thank you for your support. We're not monetized, but at the same time, we do enjoy our train videos and making them, and we found out a lot of people like the museum stuff, and so we decided we'll just we'll let you see what we see. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.